Sometimes, even the deepest friendships and strongest family bonds aren't enough to hold back temptation. In the world of celebrities, the dazzling spotlight doesn't just illuminate talent, it also hides shadows filled with secrets, forbidden affairs, and quiet betrayals. In that glittering universe, temptation isn't fueled by beauty, money, or power alone. It thrives on the dangerous thrill of deception. Fame can blur judgment, erode values, and push people to abandon the very principles they once swore to protect. And when the truth finally surfaces, it doesn't just break hearts. It sends shockwaves through careers and shatters carefully crafted public images. The 17 stories you're about to hear will pull back the curtain on shocking scandals of infidelity involving Black celebrities who betrayed the trust of friends and family, leaving deep scars that the public won't soon forget. Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr., a legend whose brilliance on stage often masked the storms in his private life. A dazzling force in music, film, and dance, he stood shoulder to shoulder with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and the Rat Pack elite, commanding Las Vegas stages and lighting up classics like Ocean's 11. To the world, his name meant glamour, wealth, and unstoppable success. Yet behind the applause lived a man tangled in complicated relationships that quietly chipped away at his peace. In the spring of 1965, when Sammy's star blazed brightest across the neon skyline of Las Vegas, a secret romance began. During rehearsals at a lavish hotel, he met Diane Harris, a magnetic dancer whose charm was impossible to ignore. What started as casual collaboration quickly slipped into a hidden affair. Under the cover of night, they met in rented rooms, stealing fleeting moments while the city's glittering lights looked the other way. Their relationship burned with passion, but carried the heavy weight of guilt, and lasted nearly a year before the truth finally surfaced. In June 1966, Frank Carter, Diane's husband and a saxophonist in the Rat Pack's backing band, uncovered the betrayal after finding a bracelet engraved with Diane's name in Sammy's jacket pocket. Fury exploded into a violent confrontation at a bar near the casino, drawing shocked onlookers and a frenzy of media attention. Overnight, colleagues became enemies. The fallout shattered professional ties, forcing Frank to leave the Rat Pack. Diane, overwhelmed by scandal and pressure, withdrew from the spotlight and ended her troubled marriage. Sammy's reputation suffered deeply, and the controversy cast a long shadow over his personal life, contributing to the collapse of his own marriage to May Britt in 1968. What once looked like a perfect union dissolved, marking one of the darkest chapters in the life of an extraordinary entertainer, Miles Davis. Miles Davis, a jazz legend whose genius reshaped the sound of the 20th century, yet whose private life often stirred as much noise as his music. The visionary behind Kind of Blue stood as a towering figure in jazz, revered for his innovation and fearless artistry. But behind the cool trumpet lines and smoky club stages lived a man entangled in turbulent relationships, whispered scandals, and complicated desires that followed him throughout his rise to fame. In May 1961, while electrifying audiences night after night at New York's iconic Birdland Club, Miles crossed paths with Loretta Young, a mesmerizing jazz dancer whose presence commanded every room. Loretta was married to Clarence Davis, a distant cousin of Miles and a lighting technician on his tours. What began as lingering glances soon turned into secret late-night meetings after the final encore. Hidden away in a modest Harlem apartment, they built a private world filled with music drifting through the air, glasses of wine clinking softly, and laughter that masked the risks they were taking. For 6 months, their romance burned quietly in the shadows, seemingly protected by the dim glow of stage lights. The illusion shattered one cold December morning when Clarence discovered Loretta leaving Miles's apartment after a performance. Fury erupted instantly. Clarence severed all ties, walking away from both family and career connections, refusing to work with Miles ever again. The fallout rippled through the Davis family, igniting a bitter feud that lingered for decades and fractured bonds that once seemed unbreakable. In 1962, Loretta gave birth to a son, one many believed was Miles's child, though he never publicly acknowledged paternity. The scandal deepened the wounds, marriages splintered, trust eroded, and Miles's carefully crafted public image began to crack under the weight of controversy. The turmoil cast a long shadow over his personal life and played a role in the eventual collapse of his marriage to Frances Taylor in 1968. Among all the affairs tied to his name, this one left the deepest scars, turning love into resentment and leaving behind a legacy marked not only by groundbreaking music, but also by the painful consequences of betrayal. Ray Charles, a musical genius, and a man whose personal life often burned as hot as his sound. He stood among the greatest artists of all time, conquering the world with unforgettable jazz, blues, and R&B. Beyond the stage, he carried a reputation as a magnetic ladies' man, fathering 12 children with 10 different women, a reflection of a love life as rebellious as his music. Among his most controversial romances was a secret affair with a friend's wife. In the summer of 1965, at the height of his fame, a single meeting changed everything. Backstage at a theater in Atlanta, Georgia, Ray met Mary Evans, the wife of Henry Foster, a trusted sound technician on his crew. From the moment she spoke, her warmth and gentle voice pulled him in. What began as conversation quickly turned into hidden rendezvous after shows, quiet hotel rooms becoming their private escape while the rest of the crew slept. The danger of being discovered only intensified their connection, drawing them deeper into a secret world that felt impossible to leave. 8 months later, the illusion shattered. Henry Foster learned Mary was pregnant during a time he had been away for weeks on tour. A paternity test confirmed the devastating truth: the child was not his. Confronted with betrayal, Henry left the tour immediately, his family broken and his friendship with Charles destroyed. Mary chose to raise the child on her own, while the scandal spread beyond the tour bus into the public eye, tarnishing Charles's reputation. Combined with other romantic controversies, the fallout cut deeply into his personal life, ultimately contributing to the collapse of his marriage to Della Beatrice Howard Robinson in 1977. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones. A legend in the studio, yet a man whose personal life carried storms few ever saw. The mastermind behind era-defining albums like Thriller, Quincy stood at the pinnacle of music history, shaping sounds that changed the world. But behind the brilliance lived a complicated heart. Father to 7 children with 5 different women, he was no stranger to messy love and difficult choices. In the spring of 1982, at the height of his creative power, Quincy crossed paths with Linda Hayes, a gifted dancer working on one of his Los Angeles video productions. During long rehearsals, her elegance and energy drew him in, and what began as admiration soon blurred into something far more dangerous. Quiet meetings after late-night shoots turned into a secret affair that lasted 6 months, until guilt weighed too heavily on Linda's conscience, and she insisted they end it. The truth, however, didn't stay hidden. Ronald Carter, Linda's husband and one of Quincy's closest friends, discovered intimate conversations that revealed the betrayal. Even as Linda tried to explain that the relationship was over, the damage was already done. A furious confrontation inside Quincy's studio shattered years of trust, ending both a deep friendship and a professional partnership that had shaped major music projects. Ronald filed for divorce, closing a chapter of his life built on broken promises. The fallout reached far beyond private pain. The scandal cast a shadow over Quincy's reputation and strained his own marriage to Peggy Lipton, which eventually ended in 1990. What had once been whispered secrets became a heavy burden, proof that even a genius capable of creating timeless art could make choices that fractured the people closest to him. In the eyes of many, Quincy Jones was no longer only a musical titan. He was also a man marked by betrayal and the complicated consequences of fame and desire. Wilt Chamberlain, an NBA giant whose name still echoes through basketball history. He dazzled the world with a legendary 100-point game and a career packed with jaw-dropping triumphs, becoming one of the sport's most unforgettable icons. Yet beyond the roaring crowds and flashing cameras, whispers of a complicated and controversial romance followed him. In early 1967, while leading the Philadelphia 76ers through a dominant season, Wilt reportedly met Gloria Turner, a striking flight attendant who turned heads the moment she walked into a celebration party after a grueling game. Dressed with effortless elegance and standing beside her husband, she captured Wilt's attention instantly. What began as a quiet connection soon grew into a secret relationship, hidden behind closed doors and late-night encounters fueled by passion and risk. Rumors of the affair eventually surfaced when a journalist claimed to have seen Gloria leaving a hotel with Wilt after a party, sparking outrage from her husband, Samuel Chamberlain, described in some accounts as a distant relative of Wilt. Public accusations followed, casting a dark shadow over the superstar's carefully built image. By the end of that turbulent year, Gloria gave birth to a daughter, and speculation about the child's paternity intensified the controversy. Wilt reportedly declined to publicly acknowledge the child, deepening family tensions and fracturing relationships. Though his dominance on the court never faded, the scandal left a lasting mark on his personal legacy, a reminder that even the brightest legends can carry complicated stories behind the spotlight. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. An affair with a close friend's wife. Once celebrated as a beloved TV star, comedian, and producer, Cosby built his reputation as America's ultimate family man through classics like Fat Albert and The Cosby Show. On screen, he embodied the perfect father, warm, wise, and trustworthy. Off-screen, however, his personal life told a far more complicated story. In mid-1975, at the height of his fame, Sheila Thompson, a supporting actress who would later join The Cosby Show, arrived in Los Angeles to audition for a new project and quickly caught his attention. Her husband, Harold Mitchell, a longtime friend of Cosby, had asked him to look after her while she pursued her career. Sheila's radiant smile and confident charm captivated Cosby, despite his long marriage to Camille Cosby. Soon, quiet rendezvous after filming became routine. They met in a rented apartment near the set, slipping through the night in secrecy while the city slept. The affair lasted 6 months, hidden in shadows until late that year when Harold uncovered the truth. A plane ticket to Los Angeles, a hotel key card, and condoms found in Sheila's luggage, matching Cosby's travel schedule, became undeniable evidence. Devastated, Harold confronted his friend, only to see their years-long bond shatter beyond repair. The scandal tore through both marriages. Sheila divorced Harold immediately, while Camille chose to stay but faced a deeply fractured relationship. As tabloids relentlessly exposed the affair, Cosby's carefully crafted image as a wholesome family icon began to crumble. Once hailed as television's model father, he became a symbol of betrayal, forever altering the legacy of one of TV's most famous figures. Marvin Gaye, one of R&B's most iconic voices, lifted soul music to extraordinary heights with deeply emotional classics like What's Going On. Yet behind the velvet sound and poetic lyrics was a life shadowed by secrecy and complicated relationships. During his marriage to Anna Gordy, whispers of clandestine affairs followed him, none more controversial than the one that began in the spring of 1972. While recording at Hitsville, USA in Detroit, Gaye met Janice Carter, a Motown backup singer whose rich, soulful voice immediately caught his attention. After long studio sessions faded into quiet nights, the two slipped into a hidden world, meeting in a small apartment near the studio, their growing bond wrapped in secrecy and late-night confessions. What began as stolen moments soon spiraled into emotional turmoil. Gaye wrestled with guilt and tried to pull away, but the pull between them proved hard to resist. The secret unraveled in October 1972 when Reggie Andrews, Janice's husband and a musician on Gaye's production team, received an anonymous tip. Doubt turned to suspicion as Janice's stories stopped adding up. One night, he followed her and discovered the truth, confronting Gaye in a heated clash that ended in a bitter fallout and a costly effort to keep the scandal quiet. The tension fractured relationships within Motown and left lasting scars. The controversy deepened in late 1973 when Janice gave birth to a son believed to be Gaye's child, igniting chaos within his marriage and family. The revelation became one of the forces that ultimately led to his divorce from Anna Gordy in 1977. Once celebrated as a romantic voice of love and truth, Gaye found his public image shaken. His tender love songs now viewed by some through a lens of betrayal and broken trust, revealing the painful contrast between the man behind the music and the legend the world adored, Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson. a towering voice of the civil rights movement, yet a deeply human man whose personal choices cast long shadows over his legacy. For decades, he stood at the forefront of the fight for equality, inspiring millions with his passion, courage, and relentless advocacy for minority rights. His name became synonymous with hope and political influence in America. But behind the powerful speeches and public victories, a private scandal threatened to unravel both his career and his family. In the summer of 1999, while advancing his political agenda, a seemingly routine meeting at a civil rights conference in Washington, D.C., altered the course of his life. Angela Brooks, a sharp and perceptive journalist representing a Chicago-based civil rights organization, was assigned to interview him. She was also married to Jesse's distant cousin, Robert Jackson, a relative he barely knew beyond occasional family gatherings. During their conversation, Angela's intelligence and magnetic presence captivated Jesse, revealing a connection that quickly deepened beyond professional boundaries. What began as conversations soon turned into secret meetings at a quiet hotel near Capitol Hill, a familiar stop during Jesse's frequent trips to Washington. Behind closed doors, passion grew while the complicated web of family ties and public responsibility faded into the background. For months, their rendezvous remained hidden, carefully shielded from the outside world. But secrets have a way of surfacing. In December 1999, Robert Jackson uncovered the truth when he saw his wife and cousin sharing an intimate candlelit dinner. Quietly documenting what he witnessed, he later confronted Jesse in front of their extended family, igniting tensions that could never fully heal. As the situation escalated, Angela denied the affair and accused Robert of jealousy, ultimately demanding a divorce, one he granted without hesitation. Meanwhile, Jesse's public silence could not erase the photographs that soon emerged, leaving a permanent mark on his reputation. When the images leaked to the press in 2000, Jesse Jackson issued a public apology, but the damage had already taken root. His carefully built image as a moral leader fractured, and organizations that once rallied behind him began to distance themselves. Allies turned away, and public trust eroded. At home, his marriage to Jacqueline Jackson endured a painful crisis. Though they eventually chose to remain together, the emotional scars lingered. In the end, the scandal became a reminder that even the most influential figures carry private battles, ones capable of reshaping legacies and leaving lasting wounds within the families they love. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson. A scandal that blurred the line between fame and fallout. Once celebrated as the Juice, O.J. Simpson dominated the 1970s and 80s as both a football icon and a Hollywood personality, charming audiences with his charisma on the field and in films like The Naked Gun. Yet beyond the bright lights and applause, his private life told a far more turbulent story. In the summer of 1989, while filming in Hollywood, Simpson crossed paths with Carla Evans, a striking and self-assured supporting actress. From the moment she stepped onto the set, she captured his attention. What began as casual conversations soon turned into secret meetings after long shooting days, hidden away in the hazy Los Angeles nights inside a rented apartment. Their intense affair lasted 4 months, fueled by secrecy and risk. Everything unraveled in November 1989, when Carla's husband, Mark Thompson, Simpson's longtime colleague, uncovered the truth through behind-the-scenes film photos. In several shots, Mark noticed Simpson's discreet gestures, a lingering handhold, a touch that crossed professional boundaries. Betrayal quickly turned to confrontation. On set, tensions exploded into a heated argument that escalated into a physical clash. In a moment of fury, Mark struck Carla in front of the crew, an incident that later became grounds for her divorce filing, citing domestic violence. Their professional relationship and friendship was shattered beyond repair. When news of the affair reached Simpson's home, the damage deepened. His marriage to Nicole Brown entered a downward spiral, and the betrayal accelerated the breakdown that would ultimately lead to their divorce in 1992. The scandal left lasting scars, not only tarnishing Simpson's public image but also eroding the respect he once commanded across sports and entertainment. Magic Johnson, a legend on the court, and a man whose personal life sometimes stirred as much attention as his game. The Los Angeles Lakers icon defined 1980s basketball with brilliance, charisma, and an unforgettable smile. Yet behind the spotlight was a complicated love life that shocked those closest to him. In early 1988, at the peak of his career, Johnson became secretly involved with Lisa Carter, a warm and charismatic flight attendant who often worked Lakers team flights. Lisa wasn't a stranger. She was married to Michael Evans, Johnson's close friend and former Michigan State teammate. They had crossed paths at friendly gatherings before, but during a long flight to New York, their connection deepened in ways neither expected. Her easy laughter and radiant presence drew him in, and what began as stolen conversations turned into a year-long affair fueled by secrecy and risk. Both knew they were crossing dangerous lines, yet the thrill of hidden rendezvous kept pulling them back together. The truth finally surfaced when Michael spotted a discreet kiss between Lisa and Johnson at a private gathering, sparking an immediate confrontation that shattered a once-strong friendship. Soon after, Johnson's wife, Cookie, learned of the betrayal. Despite the heartbreak and public shock, both couples ultimately chose to stay together, attempting to rebuild their lives after the storm. Dennis Rodman. A scandalous affair with a colleague's wife. O.J. Simpson, football icon and Hollywood favorite, was once known as the Juice, a superstar of the 70s and 80s who dominated the field and charmed audiences in films like The Naked Gun. But beyond the bright lights, his personal life was anything but calm. In the summer of 1989, while filming in Hollywood, Simpson crossed paths with Carla Evans, a striking and self-assured supporting actress who quickly captured his attention. Their chemistry sparked almost instantly, and before long they were slipping away after long days on set, meeting in the smoky twilight of a rented Los Angeles apartment. What began as flirtation turned into a secret 4-month affair. By November, the truth came crashing down when Mark Thompson, Carla's husband and Simpson's longtime colleague, uncovered incriminating photos from the film crew, catching subtle but undeniable moments of intimacy. Furious and betrayed, Mark confronted Simpson on set, igniting a heated clash that spiraled into a physical confrontation. In a shocking moment, Mark struck Carla in front of stunned crew members, an incident that later fueled her divorce filing on grounds of domestic violence. The fallout was immediate. Mark and Simpson's professional bond was shattered beyond repair, and when news reached Simpson's family, his marriage to Nicole Brown plunged into turmoil, accelerating their eventual divorce in 1992. The scandal didn't just stain Simpson's image, it fractured his personal life and eroded the respect he once commanded across both sports and Hollywood. Eddie Murphy, the comedy powerhouse behind Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America, built a career on charisma, sharp wit, and unforgettable performances. But beyond the laughter and box office success, his personal life often drew intense tabloid attention. In the mid-1990s, while filming Beverly Hills Cop 3 in Los Angeles, Murphy was rumored to have grown close to Tanya Lewis, a supporting actress who was married to George Harris, an assistant producer and longtime acquaintance of Murphy. According to industry gossip at the time, their connection quickly moved beyond professional boundaries, with private meetings after long shooting days fueling speculation on set. The situation reportedly came to light when Harris discovered a lavish necklace in his wife's belongings, one he had allegedly seen Murphy proudly showing to colleagues as a gift for someone special. Though whispers spread among the crew, few spoke openly, wary of Murphy's influence and star power. Tension escalated until Murphy's wife, Nicole Mitchell, was said to have confronted Tanya directly during production, bringing the rumors fully into the spotlight. The controversy followed Murphy for years, becoming part of the broader narrative surrounding his complicated love life. Despite public scrutiny and recurring headlines about alleged affairs, Murphy and Nicole remained together until 2006, when their marriage ultimately ended. The episode remains one of the many stories, some confirmed, others disputed, that shaped the public's perception of one of comedy's most celebrated yet controversial figures. R. Kelly, the voice behind timeless hits like I Believe I Can Fly, rose to global fame as an R&B legend. But behind the polished image lived a man whose personal life was tangled in secrecy and betrayal. In the spring of 1997, at the height of his success, Kelly became captivated by Tama Johnson, a gifted dancer who appeared in his music videos, and the wife of Marcus Reed, a Chicago music producer working closely with him. Their connection sparked during a video shoot, where Tama's graceful, magnetic presence drew Kelly in. What began as lingering glances soon turned into secret meetings at motels near the studio. Within 7 months, their bond had grown so intense that Tama carried a key to Kelly's private apartment, a small object that would ultimately expose everything. In December, Marcus discovered the hidden key in a vase and confronted her, but she insisted it belonged to a friend. Doubt lingered until a studio technician mentioned seeing Tama leaving Kelly's apartment at dawn. Suspicious, Marcus tested the key himself, and the door opened to a painful truth, with photos of the couple scattered inside. Devastated by betrayal, he filed for divorce, armed with undeniable evidence that secured most of their shared assets. Meanwhile, the scandal quietly deepened the cracks in Kelly's own marriage to Andrea, fractures that would eventually lead to their divorce years later. In 2009, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, a legend whose brilliance on the course once felt untouchable, until a secret affair threatened to tear everything apart. Celebrated for historic victories and unmatched focus, Woods seemed to embody perfection. Yet behind the trophies, a private scandal began to unfold. In the summer of 2009, after a PGA tournament in Las Vegas, he met Rachel Uckadell, a high-profile nightclub manager connected to the golf world. Drawn to her confidence and magnetic presence, Woods entered a relationship that remained hidden through tournament trips and stolen weekends. At first, he reportedly knew only that she was married, not the full extent of her ties to people close to him. Months later, media photos from a charity event revealed her identity, forcing a harsh confrontation with reality. Attempts to end the affair came too late as emotions ran high and threats of exposure loomed. Soon, private messages surfaced, professional relationships fractured, and the scandal erupted into global headlines. Sponsorships wavered, public trust collapsed, and the carefully built image of a sports icon began to crumble. The fallout reached far beyond golf, accelerating personal turmoil and reshaping how the world viewed one of the game's greatest champions. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, a name that once echoed through packed arenas and championship parades, the face of greatness, discipline, and relentless ambition. To fans, he was untouchable, a legend carved in hardwood and history. But behind the roar of the crowd and the glow of victory, a private storm was quietly building, one that would test loyalty, friendship, and the fragile bonds inside a championship locker room. During a high-profile promotional tour in Los Angeles, whispers began to swirl about a secret relationship between the superstar and a woman connected to the organization. Late-night meetings in upscale Beverly Hills hotels and hushed conversations after practice fueled rumors that refused to fade. What began as a hidden escape soon grew into an all-consuming obsession, blurring the lines between personal desire and professional responsibility. The truth finally surfaced when a series of intimate messages was discovered, igniting tension that spread like wildfire through the team. Confrontations erupted behind closed doors, trust shattered, and the once unbreakable unity of the locker room began to fracture. Teammates felt the shift. Coaches struggled to contain the fallout. And for the superstar at the center of it all, the public image of invincibility began to crack under the weight of scandal and scrutiny. As relationships unraveled and reputations trembled, the cost of secrecy became painfully clear. Fame had built an empire, but one hidden decision threatened to bring everything dangerously close to collapse. Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole. A scandal that shook the locker room. One of Chelsea FC's brightest defensive stars and a pillar of England's backline, Cole seemed untouchable on the pitch. But off the field, controversy threatened to overshadow his legacy. In the spring of 2008, during a Chelsea promotional event in London, he met Laura Bennett, a confident, magnetic PR executive who immediately caught his attention. Laura was married to Gary Thompson, one of Cole's Chelsea teammates, though the two men were never close. What began as a spark at that first meeting soon grew into a secret affair, fueled by hidden rendezvous and late-night passion that carried on for nearly a year, undetected. The truth finally surfaced in late September 2009 when Gary overheard Laura's late-night phone call filled with affection for Cole. Rage erupted, he smashed her phone, but the betrayal cut deeper than broken glass. The following morning, tensions exploded inside Chelsea's locker room as Gary confronted Cole, forcing teammates to intervene before the situation spiraled further. Though the scandal never reached the tabloids, it sent shockwaves through the squad. Soon after, Gary finalized his divorce from Laura, while Ashley and his wife Cheryl would also go their separate ways in 2010, a turbulent end to a chapter marked by fame, secrecy, and consequences. Chris Brown, a superstar whose private life sparked whispers that shook his inner circle. Known worldwide for electrifying dance moves and hit records, Brown built a career under blazing stage lights, yet controversy often followed close behind. Around early 2013, at the height of the Fortune era, rumors swirled about a secret relationship with Nia Guzman, a model connected to his creative world. Nia wasn't just another industry face, she was married to Terry Williams, someone described as a longtime friend from Brown's early days in music. According to widely discussed reports at the time, the relationship unfolded quietly in Los Angeles, far from cameras and headlines, until everything changed in 2015 with the birth of a daughter, Royalty. Questions, speculation, and public scrutiny intensified, straining friendships and reshaping personal lives. Social media clashes and harsh criticism followed, and the controversy cast a long shadow over Brown's polished image, fueling backlash, slowing momentum, and testing his connection with fans and brands alike. The stars we admire aren't always the heroes we imagine. Fame can't hide broken trust or fractured relationships forever. If stories like this surprise you, share your thoughts below. We're curious to hear your take. And if you want more deep dives into the untold drama behind celebrity fame, hit subscribe and stay tuned for what lies beyond the spotlight.